That's right, baby. And we had a rough round 7. We lost more than half the field. 8 went out in round number 7. So 7 remain, Paul. And who jumps out of you in the list?
I'll tell you, I'm very surprised that the 2 first-timers, Gartke and Henares, are still in there. Very impressive on their part. I think the odds-on favorite right now has to be Matt Evans. He's been the coolest under pressure. He's the most experienced. Never mind that he's the youngest. Evan O'Dorney will be a contender, too, and he's coming up next.
Well, he is one of the best parts of B-Week is discovering the hidden talents of the spellers. They have more than just words on the brain. And in the case of that young man right there to the right, Evan O'Dorney, we found a complex, creative mind full of music and math. He sat down with us to share his love of notes and numbers and even let us use his music to tell his story.
When I was in Washington, D.C. last time, and I had this music in my head. My name is Evan O'Dorney. I'm 13 years old. I really like math, and I do like my music. I started the piano when I was 5. It seems like almost as soon as I started to play the piano, I was making up my own songs on it. Sometimes I'll walk around and I'll have music in my head. Especially lately, I'm trying to do world history, and I get songs in my head.
Sometimes he'll have a faraway look in his eye, and I will say to him, is it notes or numbers?
The songs that I write now, I write the normal way with staffs and notes. But before I did that, I developed a way of writing music using numbers. I thought of the numbers as the essence of the notes. And so I started thinking of notes as numbers.
Well, I always had a fascination with numbers. For example, a bus would go by, and the bus would have a 4-digit number, and he would say, do you know that's a perfect square? And
I've always liked math. I've always liked the numbers and the patterns, and it's just the way my mind works.
He is a very deep thinker. He finds out solutions to problems which we have never thought of. Very original, which is brilliant.
I don't know if I really enjoy the spelling bee as compared to math or music. I don't really like it. It's just that I have to be in it, and I have to keep going and try to do my best.
I want to see him happy. I'm like any mom. And I want to see him continue to use the gifts that God has given him, especially the music. I keep going back to that, but the music just speaks to people.
I've written a piano concerto, and now I'm at the final stages where we're rehearsing and getting ready for a performance.
A young man of many talents. We were talking to him, Paul, right before the finals, and he's exhausted. He's really tired, but
somehow he'll summon the energy that he needs at the microphone. I have a feeling.
I do believe he will catch his second wind. As we continue, hear the judge, Mary Brooks.
We are now ready to begin round 8. Speller number 11, Evan M. O'Dorney, representing the Contra Costa Times of Walnut Creek, California. Will you please step to the microphone?
Howdy. Schuhplattler.
Schuhplattler?
Schuhplattler.
Schuhplattler.
Sounds right.
May I have the definition, please?
It's a long one. A Bavarian courtship dance in which before the couple dances together, the woman calmly does steps resembling those of a waltz, while the man dances around her, swinging his arms and slapping his thighs and the soles of his feet.
Schuhplattler.
Yes.
May I have the language of origin, please?
It's basically German. It came from a German element and then a element that went from Latin to German.
Schuhplattler. S-C-H. Is this the only pronunciation?
It's the only one that I have. Schuhplattler.
Can I start over?
Of course.
S-C-H-U-H-P-L-A-T-T-L-E-R. Schuhplattler.
And he is allowed, and he's allowed to start over, but you can't change the letters.
Can't change the letters. And he gave us just an abbreviated impromptu Schuhplattler on his way back to his seat.
He did. You see his proud folks that are there on the stage with him.